Hello dear friends, this is Astrorrachita reporting live from Istanbul, Turkey. It's a beautiful day here, and as I was sitting out in the patio enjoying this lovely quiet garden, the thought of making a new video and sharing this beautiful place with you came across my mind. Hi, nice to see you all back. There are many queries which come to me for foreign travel. When will I go to a foreign country? Will I go only for a recreational tour? Or will I go and stay abroad, work professionally there, or be able to take a degree there? It's a very vast subject about foreign travel, but it can be very accurately studied by the use of a horoscope or Horary Kundli, which, as I have talked about in my previous videos, is a Prashna Kundli or a Horary Astrology Kundli, which is cast at the moment of doing the judgment, and it does not require birth details. And the horoscope, in fact, is very accurate document which gives you the exact yog, that is the possibility of going abroad, which is either for pleasure or for settling abroad, and it also tells you about the accurate timing of when the auspicious or when the most favorable time periods for you to go abroad are. I am here today in Turkey, and I would like to share that we had been planning this for a while, but it could only materialize because we were coming together as a family. It could only materialize because particular houses in the horoscopes of all the persons or the passengers who wanted to travel together were vibrating at the same time. So what are these houses? What are these particular planets which are responsible for foreign travel? This is my first video on this topic, and I would like to touch upon firstly any kind of recreational tour, or when you travel for pleasure purposes, sightseeing purposes, could be cultural absorption, and could be just to broaden your horizon. The first house which is responsible, the primary house responsible in the horoscope for this is the third house. Third house is responsible for making short journeys. It is also the house which is 12th to the fourth house. Fourth house, as we know, is the house of settlement and home life, settled life. And any kind of disturbance in the home life, which means that you are moving away from your settled domesticity, day-to-day domesticity, indicates that you are making a travel. Now, the third house is primarily for the short distance travel. Then another house which is responsible for this is the ninth house, which is called, it's one of the dharma houses, and ninth house is the house responsible for making long journeys. When we are making travel abroad, or when we are making an overseas trip, it's very much important that your ninth house should also be vibrating, because we are talking for a kind of cultural enrichment. We are talking a kind of long travel which is fulfilling some emotional desire which is inside of us, and for all this, ninth house is responsible. Ninth house is also taken into account when we talk about any pilgrimage activities, because ninth house is the dharma sthan, and it talks about yatras or taken pilgrimages. And in the olden days, ninth house was specially responsible because long journeys were primarily made for pilgrimage purposes. Nowadays, we don't really call it pilgrimage for religious purposes, but because we talk about cultural absorption, we talk about meeting new people, we talk about going to visit new places, we talk about taking audio tours, we talk about reading books like The Lonely Planet and Google documents about a particular place. All this is basically broadening of our horizon, broadening of our cultural perspectives. So all this is taken as part of the ninth house activities. So third house, ninth house, very much important when we talk about overseas travel. And of course, here we cannot forget about till the time actually ninth house may actually also indicate when, if only ninth and third houses are vibrating, we could also talk about a domestic travel, but which is long distance. Now when we talk about crossing the shores, when we talk about talking foreign shores, we have to take into account the 12th house. The 12th house, we know, is the house of moksha, of liberation, and it is also the soul's liberation to move to a different land. So it's the third house, the ninth house, and the 12th house. And the 12th house is primarily the house responsible for overseas travels or the foreign travels. 3rd, 9th and 12th, especially with regards to the Krishnamurti Paddhati astrology, are the three primary houses. first house in any kind of activity or any kind of effort requiring what we call willpower, what we call resourcefulness, and what we call judgment. All these things are required for making foreign travel. So first house is the house of me, myself, my desire, my deepest conviction that I want to make this trip, and even if there are any obstacles in the path, I will remove those obstacles and I will go. So basically, when we talk about fruition of any kind of activity, any kind of long journey, the first house has to vibrate positively. It has to receive positive aspects, or it has to make some kind of relation with the 12th house lord or the 12th house. This could be in terms of the first and the 12th lords either being conjunct or mutually casting benefic aspects on each other, or they are moving into each other's constellations or nakshatras. As we know, there are many combinations available in astrology which tell us about this. Now when we talk about any kind of long distance travel and also living there also indicates 7th house. Your 7th house also has to be favorable, because first house is me, myself. 7th house is anything which is away from me. So when probably the Lagan Lord is located in the 7th house of a person, if the person receives a favorable dasha and antardasha during his lifetime, then during that period the person would be going and living abroad. So the further away, there is also a rule in astrology which is I have also tried across hundreds of horoscopes, and I have found it to be very correct and verifiable, is that your Lagan Lord, the further away it is situated from the first house, it will show that there are more and more likelihood, more and more chances of the person actually going and staying away from his blood family and staying away in a foreign and far away land. For example, 7th house. For example, if the Lagan Lord is in the 9th house, if the Lagan Lord is in the 11th house or in the 12th house. These are all yogas, or these are all combinations which talk about going and settling abroad. And yes, if you are looking for an opportunity for either professional reasons or because you are a person who loves globetrotting, who loves to inculcate in yourself the vast beauty of the world and the planet Earth, and you would like to travel the world and see the world, and you don't know what are your favorable periods for that, or whether actually your horoscope is supporting that, then you should consult an astrologer who will give you an exact breakdown of the time periods when you should make this effort. Because what happens is that the astrologer gives you the correct guidance, but you have to make the required effort. You have to make the required, what we call the kriyaman. Kriyaman is basically the action or the kind of effort which is required, and the practical details that have to be taken care of. That of course you will have to take care of them, but together with your planetary favorable periods, together with your effort, if everything comes together, you could be sitting in a foreign land just as I am. This is Rachita signing off from Istanbul for now. I'll be back again soon with another video. Keep smiling, stay blessed, stay empowered, stay connected. Thank you.